Hi everyone and welcome to my channel today. I thought I would show you what I have got ready for the Journal of Stitchery with Rachel and her sister Sarah and their mother for Roxy Creations. I have done my 2 sampler pages and my cover or title page. So what I've got here is the first one. So I've got running stitch here and I've done 3 layers of that. Next I have the running stitch with the whipping, so the whip stitch. That's a single whip stitch, and then I've done a double whip stitch so that I've gone either direction. The blue row is back stitch. The yellow are the French knots. Then I've got stem stitch, which is the pink, and I might just see if I can bring this up but put that down because I can't hold it steady. Okay, there we go. And the yellow crosses is a cross stitch, which is kind of a joined cross stitch. Then I have got the chain stitch, I believe. No, it's not chain stitch, split stitch, which I'd actually never heard of before. But that's the green one. Then I have purple cross stitch, which is unjoined. Then another row of running stitch, and the pink is cross stitch but done the other way, so more of a row of pluses. This green here is stem stitch. Then we have some seed stitch, and then we have I'm pretty sure that must be the colonial knot. And I think we've got 2 rows of colonial, and then a running stitch again in the yellow, which I just did sort of alternating, and then the pistol stitch. So that was my first one. That actually did take me quite some time. Most of the stitches I was familiar with, except, as I said, the split stitch. I've never actually come across that before, so that was I guess a bit of a learning thing for me. But that's the first one. And my second one, and we'll just, there we go, we've got the chain stitch. Then we've got the lazy daisies done with the single chains. And then I have what I believe is an open chain stitch, I think it's called. So it's done exactly the same as chain stitch, except that you leave a bigger space here, so it makes it wider. Then I have the leaves, which are lazy daisy stitch along a whipped running stitch. Then we have some satin stitch with the pink hearts and some colonial knots. I think they're colonial, possibly could be French knots, not sure. Then the next bit, and I'll just get rid of these little scraps, the next bit is the herringbone stitch, fly stitch, and the dreaded bullion knots. Then blanket stitch. Not my best example of the blanket stitch, actually. I find blanket stitch much easier to do on the edge of something rather than in the middle there. And then we have some weaving. I've got the square weaving, and then the what I've always known as pinwheel weaving. And then this one here, which is the turkey stitch, which again I'd never heard of, and I don't think I've done a particularly good example. I actually have always believed that to be called something else, done with a different needle, where you stab down into the fabric, but I can't think what it's called right now. I do actually have a needle that you do it with, but I don't know where it is. And then my final one is my couching stitch, which I actually did use I think 6 strands of the DMC cotton. Most of this was done with DMC cottons. There were a couple that I did with the perlé cottons as well, because I don't have a lot of the perlé, but I have a lot of DMC cottons, probably because I used to do a lot of cross stitch, counted cross stitch, so I bought a lot of those at that time. So they are my 2 pages, and the next one, and I might just zoom down a little bit, is my title page. And there we go. So what I did a border using lace, and I've actually sewn that down. You may not be able to see it, but I used a perlé cream just to stitch that down, and I've got chain stitch in the green. That is just back stitch. I've got some lazy daisy flowers there, some bullion knot mini roses, and I did use the blanket stitch, and I think I've got stem stitch on that as well to highlight the roses. And this one here, what have I got? Lazy daisy stitches and French knots and a little bit of straight stitch. So that is my title page. So they're my 3 pages so far. So I am ready to move on with that. I have got a cover of a book. Now mine are quite small. They fit into, and I'll just bring it down again. There we go. Fit into my Reader's Digest book cover that I have gutted, and I have cut some fabric pieces as my pages as well. So they're ready to go as well. I did choose a fairly small book because just to make sure that I had time to actually complete each of the pages. So I'm ready to go. If you're not sure what I'm talking about, I will leave some links below to a couple of the ladies' channels so that you can find out what exactly is going on. But if you're into some slow stitching or anything like that, or want to learn some embroidery, probably a great project to do. Alright, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.